All right, welcome back. In this video, we will go into the menu, specifically the P5LIVE menu up here. So again, these videos are just going to be short, sort of modular to look at just little aspects of it. That way you can quickly jump and learn about each of them. So the very first thing is the About, which you see when you first land at P5LIVE. And again, this is the entire README that you can also find on GitHub, and it really goes into all of the different aspects, but nobody wants to read the README. That might be why you're watching this video here. So there are details there. You can jump ahead, especially as these videos maybe take a few weeks to slowly arrive. But I'll go into this and more detail through these videos. So if you're wondering how do I do a thing, it can be worth looking up into here. And this just sort of waits for you there. It's especially useful for the main shortcuts. So I can click OK. The next button is our settings. That'll be its own video because there's lots of detail in here, but that's just a quick way to find those settings. You can also press Control comma to bring those up and show them. Clicking hides it again. Built into P5LIVE is the references of P5. So I can click references. When you're online, it takes a little while to download. If you're running this offline, it's instant. And this is the entire P5.js reference with the intent that it's sort of a little bit hiding away. If we are in full screen mode, maybe no one will notice that you quickly opened up the references and wanted to find out, how does that cylinder work? Okay, it works like that. Great. Now I can hide it and keep performing. I'll bring back the menu. It's just a quick way to reference and jump into things. I'll bring back the menu and I'll leave us in full screen for a minute. Next is something called Chalkboard, and this is more intended for teaching, but there are some really weird, interesting performative ways that we could use this. If I click Chalkboard, it opens up basically another P5 sketch on top of everything. And so this is a place where I can say, hello, clear it, but it's really intended for explaining things. We have seen, this is a horrible sine wave. Let's try that again. If I wanted to describe how a sine wave works, I ran out of mouse space. Let me go back up and hide my menu. Maybe I would describe a sine wave by using a couple colors, playing with the weight a bit, and saying, okay, this is 0 and dot, 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 dot across. This is the -1 and dot, 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 dot. This is the +1. Chalkboard I'll get into in a whole own video, but it can be really interesting to play with the opacity of your drawings, the opacity of the chalkboard itself. So you could be using it also just to highlight some code and point things out, or totally hiding the sketch in the background if you want to describe something. And we have multiple drawings. So this can be a nice way that sometimes when explaining concepts, how is a function working, what is the map function, it's really helpful just to jump to a chalkboard and explain it, and then you can always save those drawings for future reference or including in teaching material. To get rid of the chalkboard, I can click this, or Control B is for the board. Chalkboard brings this up and closes it. I'm going to exit full screen mode, Command Control F to show you the visuals only pop-up. And what is this? If I make my window a little bit smaller and click visuals only, I get a second copy of my window, but without the code. So it's running in real time. It's really impressive what the browser can do. It's just a copy of my P5 sketch canvas for broadcasting, especially useful if you have two screens and maybe you want someone to just see the visuals. I'll move this a little bit out of the way and give us a change to the fill. So I'm going to add another color, and now we have it fading through some color, and we can see that change happened right away. Again, this is really useful for if someone doesn't want to see the code. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to see this code, but it can be useful maybe for an installation. I'm actually using that for this pop-up down here. So this is a P5 sketch running in P5LIVE in another window. using this visual pop-up and then using the browser's picture-in-picture feature so that I can move this and have it always floating on top. So I'm actually running 2 versions of P5LIVE at the moment. So I can close that. It also updates if I change sketches. So yeah, something to explore. I'm gonna bring this back. And our last button up here is about exporting. I'll make a whole separate section on this, but real quick, we can export screenshots of our code along with the picture. This is really useful for taking a snapshot right there. I just downloaded a PNG of what I see and a version of the code, so I can version what I'm working on in a process. Export link, just copied to clipboard a version of this sketch ready to share with someone. So I can even go paste, hit return, and now it came in as a new sketch. It's the same as my previous one. It just created a new sketch with that sketch as a URL. I'm going to quickly delete the copy I don't need. And last but not least, exporting HTML. I'll get into this in detail later, but it exports what we have as a single page HTML website ready to then start building upon for a website if you want to use this as a fancy background, or maybe you just want to take the bits and pieces from that one page and try to embed it into your CMS or existing website. Okay, that's the P5LIVE menu. Hope it's more clear. Next, we will get into the sketches in the next video. So see you later.